I saw in an article, this rings true because I'm autistic, and my best friend's son is autistic as well. So this really brings it home to me about what autistics in Palestine are suffering at the moment. It's written by a lady by the name of Palestine Mansour, who is a journalism student at Northwestern University in Qatar. And she's written this article for the Middle Eastern Monitor. Forgive me whilst I try and handle papers as well as a microphone at the same time. Thank you. The first time I truly saw the world through my sister's eyes was in Ramallah. Growing up with a neurodivergent sibling, I deeply sympathized with her struggles, but there was always a feeling that I couldn't live in her world because I didn't have access to it. I simply tried to help in any way I could. This changed when my family and I made the decision to move to the occupied West Bank from the US in 2021. We desperately needed a change of pace, and the quality of my sister's care was plateauing. By moving to Palestine, I would also be able to grow closer to my Palestinian identity rather than being detached both physically and emotionally, as I had been for most of my life. The move itself came with many challenges. Whilst I was adjusting to the new environment, I came to realize that the isolation that my sister experiences on a daily basis was something I was experiencing as well. She lives in her own neurological world, and throughout the first year in Palestine, I felt like I'd been dropped into a foreign planet. I don't want to equate our circumstances, but the effects of the occupation, whether it was navigating Israeli checkpoints, days off of school to honor the staggering number of Palestinian martyrs, or losing out on educational opportunities because of flawed systems, made this sense of isolation ever more apparent. Along with the regression of their options for treatment, autistic children in Palestine face the material isolation that comes with living under an occupying force. It's further salt in the wound to realize that the American taxpayer money props up the occupation. Therapeutic resources are abundant in Israel, but scarce in the West Bank and Gaza. In the occupational therapy sector, autism centers and educational facilities are underfunded and overcrowded, making it more difficult for autistic children to receive the care they need to flourish and actively participate in their communities. We visited numerous centres that did not specifically fit my sister's need because of the language barrier and the lack of diverse services. The language barrier proved to be the main issue, especially considering that she had been raised with only English-speaking therapists. In terms of the programs themselves, the staff was greatly overworked, and this factor, coupled with the inadequate facilities, did not supply with my sister with well-rounded care. Cost is another factor that Palestinian families must consider when weighing the options for therapy. My family was lucky enough to be able to afford the sessions, costing about $50 each, but for many in the occupied West Bank, this sum is their entire daily salary. Statistically speaking, resource availability for neurodivergent children in the West Bank is low, considering that the total number of children with disabilities is 59,000. And the centres specifically catered to autistic children are few in number. In the world of Palestinian activism, the plight of autistic people is often overlooked, and that, by the way, is no fault of anybody that sort of does like Palestinian activism, so it's no criticism meant to them. We must spotlight this vulnerable group. Rights groups have voiced such concerns over the years, with the Euro-Mediterranean Human Rights Monitor citing the neglect of rehabilitation and support of Palestinian children with autism. Failing to properly treat these patients, autism is estimated to affect thousands of children in the occupied Palestinian territories, violates the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, the group noted. After moving to the occupied West Bank, we quickly realised that acquiring my sister's medication would also be a major issue amid border delays and the rejection of many packages by Israeli authorities. Such delays can be extremely problematic for neurodivergent people who take medication daily. The healthcare system in Palestine is already under extreme financial strain, and the strict border controls only exacerbate this issue. Medication can be a key quality of life factor for those with autism. This is yet another basic right for which Palestinians must fight tooth and nail. In the world of Palestinian activism, the plight of autistic people is often overlooked, especially amid the soaring violence and tensions across the occupied West Bank and Gaza, to increase awareness and demand action. This is particularly important for those with autism who are non-verbal, like my sister. Living in the occupied West Bank can feel like being crushed by the ever-tightening grip of an oppressive hand. Speaking about the plight of our autistic friends and family members can loosen the clutches ever so slightly. In a world where Palestinians are constantly and aggressively silenced, these voices also need to be heard. Thank you very much.